Dull power. Initiating match.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the ECAC's Overwatch 2 stream. We have a grand finals match for you tonight. I'm your caster Inferno, once again joined by my fellow caster Althea and our observer Beldia. How you doing tonight, Althea?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to see this match tonight. I believe it is Division B Grand Finals here between Merrimack University or College. Merrimack Azure is the team versus Trine Varsity. And yeah, these teams looking pretty good now. Made it all the way here to the Grand Finals. Definitely expecting a long match between them. Already, we're getting some beautiful basketball shots on the side of Merrimack.
I'm not sure who's making those, but yeah, causing some ruckus in the background. Okay, yeah. We're seeing these teams get right up to the point. We're seeing that Symmetra turret, or the Symmetra portal come out, getting everyone up to point faster. Battle for mid-ground now, but with mods on that Malga pick, I'm sure Trine is looking to get aggressive here.
For sure, this May wall is going to be a big player into this. If they're able to secure one of those members of the team, I think it'll be a pretty quick execute. But right now we see Merrimack kind of on the back end, taking a lot of damage from mods and Fuji. And they're just having a hard time, I think, especially pushing into this Brig and the Reaper holding this corner. It's going to be real hard. Disconnecting the healing, though, with an anti-nade, that might be what they need. But luckily, mods gets a nice dash out.
Yeah, I think that anti-nade is going to be a big part in taking down that Malga. We're seeing the overclock pop from Fuji, very early ultimate, getting some great damage down onto the field for the side of Trine. Seeing some picks now come through, Houdini with a 2K to help clean up the fight.
Yeah, we saw Trine almost get pushed back there, but I think it was just enough to where they were able to almost catch them with their guard down. We saw mods dash all the way back to point. That forced Merrimack up, and with that, it was just up to Houdini and really 10 with that just close range damage, just shredding them. See Merrimack now wanting to take an alternate approach. Definitely the right choice. Mods and Fuji executing Delaw.
We've seen a pick for both teams now. Both tanks are still up on this point. We're seeing the overclock come out from Bobby Shawarma now, taking tens with him. Fuji lines up for a second shot. We have Merrimack leading this fight now, up in picks and damage on the point. And just like that, they will be able to swing it and stop Trine at 72%.
Yeah, Bobby had some really nice picks there with that overclock, as well as just general kills, as well with the help from D-Law. Able to swap this point over, 72% for Trine. However, they're fairly up on ultimates. I think they're very close, 80% on two of them. But other than that, their whole team is ready to go compared to the only 3 Merrimack has.
We have a mirror orbital ray in this middle ground here, but it seems like Trine's using it just a little bit better, finding these picks. Death Blossom did come out from Houdini, and that's going to be a quick flip for the point for Trine.
Yeah, I think without that supportal ready to go from either side, Merrimack is just going to fall quite quickly to that Death Blossom, and that was a really efficient take as well. Only committing those 2 ultimates, 90% now. They have quite a lot to hold this.
They certainly do. We see that cage fight come out, as well as the Terra Surge. Houdini escaping that radius and then going back for the execute. We're seeing Trine just give the space when they need it, take the space when they want to, and overall just walk all over this point.
Yeah, we saw a very beautiful ultimate from mods there. Putting that right on the choke to disconnect Merrimack's tank from the supports and just overall prevent anybody else from walking on the point, and that was really effective. Just killed Easy Junkrat real fast, and then followed up the rest with, I think it was Fuji just jumping there in the back line, helping with that. Very efficient work from Trine, and that was a very strong first point for them.
It certainly was, and I'm sure they're looking to carry it over right into the second round, shut Li Zhong out 2-0. Not going to see any swaps in their comp. I'm sure we're going to see Houdini just with that teleporter out of spawn. But Merrimack, on the other hand, has certainly swapped up the comp, and I'm liking what they're running now going into this second point. I do think they could have the upper hand here on Trine.
Yeah, that Junkrat's going to do a lot of work in these close alleyways here. Easy Junkrat definitely picking this D.Va for that Malga, just countering that Cardiac Overdrive. And I want to say the Soldier is just to try and combat that Sojourn, as well as just the rest of the supports. But right now, we're, like you said, it's working out pretty well for Merrimack, securing this point and just forcing Trine back without any real major picks. They're just kind of walking backwards.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, it looks like Merrimack just kind of showed up, did the damage, and that was enough for Trine to back all the way up. Bobby Shawarma with a nice trap into the kill there. Fuji will demech easy Junkrat, leaving that Baby D.Va on point, susceptible to that damage. We'll be able to fall back, get the heal up. Not before Fuji will find Bobby, and Trine will start capping the point.
Yeah, they flip it, but I don't know for how long. 4 of the members up from Trine, or from Merrimack now, on either side. But we actually see Trine looks like they're on that back end. We saw Mods come back just in time to help hold it, get a nice pick, and that's going to put Merrimack on the advantage. And now they're going to have a very nice hold on this choke, once again, like we saw on that first point. And that's going to be real hard to play into that Sojourn, Reaper, just general, very close damage, very choke-based. I think we're going to have to see a few ults committed, but we see one from Fuji on the defense.
Yeah, that overclock did come out. The Junkrat tire unable to find any of the picks. And like you said, Trine with this hold now at this front gate, it's going to be very hard for Merrimack to be able to push into this. We see Houdini playing the left. I believe it's Mods playing the right. They're just splitting the damage with Fuji in the middle. And it's proving to be very difficult for Merrimack with this comp to be able to walk through this choke here.
Yeah, DeLaw swapping over to this Cassidy, and I don't really know what the goal of that is. There isn't too many movement abilities. I think it might stop Mods from using that dash out of there. Reaper ult comes out, gets slept and eaten by the D-Matrix. D.Va Bomb as well, finds Echo Riot, and looks like Trine is still up on this, almost knocking Easy Junkrat out of this mech. But Trine now at 80% has just a really strong hold still.
They are down a member. Trine does know that. They are going to pull back now. They were holding that forward position for as long as they could. They got him up to a nice 90%. And now if they win this team fight, that'll be Lijiang Tower in the bag. Mods committing that cage fight early, and there we're seeing the pick. Fuji with the overclock. There's 2, and there's the rest. Trine quite easily takes Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, I mean, Merrimack felt like they were just on that defense almost the entire time. The only time we really saw them flip that fight was when, I mean, it really came down to just a really nice ultimate, I think, from the Sojourn on the side of Merrimack. And I mean, you can't always just be relying on those really strong, really powerful 3 or 4Ks with an ultimate to clutch up and win. However, we see Merrimack here, or Trine doing a great job there with that team up of the Sojourn overclock and then the Age fight, just locking them in and mowing them down. So yeah, Merrimack, I think you could definitely see the resilience, trying to make some swaps to find answers, but Trine just stood steady and just kept going.
I completely agree. I mean, Merrimack willing to make some swaps to try to counter. We saw that first fight even go their way. It was looking really good. And then in just one swoop, Trine regrouped, got all their HP back in check, pushed that point with such ferocity, and Merrimack didn't really have an answer for it. And then once they were in that forward position, like we were commenting on, it would just look too defensive. I mean, Trine was in such a good spot. Merrimack was unable to make that space right away. I think it's going to look a lot different on not a capture mode. And I do think Merrimack has the skills to fight off this Trine team, but we're really going to have to see them play to their best potential here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for now, while we wait to get into this next map, I'm expecting possibly King's Row. We're going to take just a brief moment and get back to you guys in just a second.
Now entering King's Row. Initiating match.
And just like that, we are in on our second map here. Just as Althea commented, it is that King's Row. We've seen it for most of the season. It's a pretty staple pick for any team in the league right now. Everyone's very comfortable on it. I'm sure we're going to see a very standard hold and attack here coming out from either side. Mods with that Malga hover again. Actually, we're seeing the same team out of Trine. With the way that they just performed on Lijiang Tower, I would expect nothing different. We do see Merrimack with some swaps. Easy Junkrat on the Orisa pick. Did not see that yet, but I think on this defense here, it could do some great work. We're seeing Sunday with that Ana pick as well. Going to be able to get the anti-nades off onto mods, which will ultimately lead to some of these Malga kill secures, I'm sure. But we're just going to see how Trine applies their pressure that they have off of last map into this one here. On this attack first, by the way. Definitely the place you want to be.
We can definitely see a bit of a difference in Merrimack's team comp. Running what they were at the start last time, I believe. I'm surprised this Mei is playing on the high ground, too. Usually we see that up close. She's trying to isolate the tank, but we already see Merrimack. Feels like they're just playing way too passive. Might get proven wrong very quick, but it feels like they're just backing up and giving up space.
And just like that, we see the Mei wall come down with the purple nade landing. Mods was almost executed there. That was a very nice play for Merrimack. Seeing Trine back up, regroup to the middle here. Still, looking for that hotel push. But with that Mei wall coming through, Mods looks to take an aggressive stance, protect his supports, and looks to be doing just that as Trine starts the cap with one tick already on.
Yeah, Easy Junkrat close to this Orisa ultimate, but very low, and is just going to die trying to rush for this contest, and that's just something that you hate to see from Merrimack. It seems like they're just playing super passive and just constantly needing to fall back. And right there, when they do eventually need to contest, I mean, they are the defense. They need to get on that point. It just hurts way too much to try and do so.
Certainly does. I mean, we're seeing this Merrimack team again making swaps. D-Law on the Junkrat now. We saw it last time. I mean, has that utility, has the damage to be able to secure some picks, even stop mods on that Malga sometimes, but not when Houdini's right behind you with those Reaper shotguns, just blasting away.
Yeah, for sure. We see mods still just playing aggressive. I mean, points only halfway through the second, but we see Trine in the end of third point holding this, and it's just, I mean, if you're Merrimack, you have to think, what changes can you make? I think already we see a pretty nice one of this Malga swap. Getting that match definitely is going to at least increase the tank survivability. Really, the only tank that can match Malga's is a Malga. So that definitely makes sense. However, I do think that Trine will still have the advantage with this Sojourn Reaper.
Oh, there we see Bobby Shawarma, though, with the overclock, not even worried about Houdini death blossoming in the backline, finding picks of their own. And to comment on what you were saying, yeah, this Malga swap from Easy Junkrat I think is going to be the start of the tables turning here for the side of Merrimack. You got to fight fire with fire sometimes. And like you said, Malga's really one of the only ones who can stand up to a Malga pick. It just works too well not to go for yourself. And now we're seeing Merrimack with the defense.
Not to mention Sunday on that Ana is going to make a big key difference in that Malga 1v1 if you can hit that anti. You see that now. Huge anti comes out, finds mods just like that. However, Trine is very close to this cap.
We saw the anti come out as soon as that cage fight dropped, and with easy Junkrat just shooting you right in the head at that close, mods falls quickly, but Trine able to fight the battle, stay on this point, and cap that second point.
Yeah, that's actually fairly surprising. It seemed like they were mostly up at the start of that, but I think their DPS from Trine really clutched up on that one. They did commit quite a few ultimates now, and I think that's going to put Merrimack at the slight advantage. I mean, they're going to have this overclock with the Nano up real quick, and we just saw 1 or 2 fights ago what that's capable of. On the first map, too, we saw the major swaps in the fight with Bobby on that ultimate. We see it coming down now.
Oh, but we're seeing the picks from Trine still come through. Merrimack giving up space. Bobby Shawarma with the nano boost and the overclock. Did find one, but gets shut down by the rest. That's Trine very close to capping this third point here. This fight did come down.
We're going to see this cage fight just trying to find the members of Trine, but nobody's exactly falling. I love her finding Echo Riot. Down a support for Trine, but up in picks severely. And that's going to be a very quick cap from Trine. I mean, 3 minutes on the clock for that second point. Or for the third point is just... I mean, we don't typically see time banks like this. And it's definitely now up to Merrimack to... I mean, they've gone quite a few rounds now. What is the big problem and how do you take care of it? I feel like really the only major plays we've seen from Merrimack in the times when the fight switch are when we get such a big ultimate from Bobby. And like I mentioned, definitely good and powerful. You want to rely on ultimates, but not when you can't win your fights without them. And that's something we almost started to see Merrimack able to adapt to with the Malga and the Ana pick, able to use that anti-nade in that 1v1 as a big player.
It certainly is. I mean, Merrimack definitely made it to the finals. They are a great team in and of their own. I know that they're capable of getting this win here. We're just going to have to see what the play is. Bobby Shawarma on the Widow hover right now, likely just looking for that first pick. Be able to blow the door wide open for Merrimack onto this first point. Would be lovely. You know, teams usually play against that. D-Law with the Pharah hover, though. And I love her on the Zenyatta. Certainly a different team comp.
I mean, I hardly know her, but we'll have to see if they stay on these picks. Trine, definitely you can see a change in what Merrimack was running, playing very close up in this choke. The support's nearby, but I think they're definitely going to struggle against this possible Pharah splash damage just being shot through. The Zen pick definitely is chosen for that Discord on the other Malga, helping win that fight. Dila will find Echo Riot, and it's up to Fuji to get a good wall. Will come down, but we're not seeing any picks from Trine. Merrimack is picking some up.
Like you were saying, going into this second round here, Merrimack really has to address what the problem is. And I think a big part of that was mods on this Malga. And I love her and Sunday on these two supports, the Ana and the Zenyatta, being able to Discord and anti-nade that Malga, I think is going to be huge. And as we saw there, it led to that kill. Merrimack takes this first point, I believe even faster than Trine did, and they're on great pace now to match their speed or even get more time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something you love to see. You like to see these kinds of flips like this. It's looking like Trine is looking like how Merrimack was on the attack, just really struggling to find this space and just forced to constantly fall back, and I think that's just the pressure this Far is putting up. However, Houdini making the appropriate swap to this Cassidy. You like to see that now. Anti-discorded mods in this backline, trying to cause some damage. Easy Junkrat and mods just going at it. However, Houdini, with the help of every other member of the team, will find Sunday and I Love Her. I think with your supports down, Easy Junkrat on that Mauga is just going to have to fall back, and we do see Trine gaining control of this point once again. However, falling back as soon as Easy Junkrat's ready.
Yeah, I think a big play for Trine is going to be mods taking a lot of the hit, and then Houdini and Fuji cleaning up the picks. We see it right there on the Delaw. I don't know if the Pharaoh's going to work too much more with this Cassidy pick. We're going to see the stick maybe just for that rocket barrage, and then possibly a swap. The overclock coming out now, picking up Houdini. The purple tank will die to Easy Junkrat. And we're seeing Merrimack, with just a few ults, be able to push right back through the Trine defense.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's that go-to nano overclock, and it does some wonders for Merrimack. Definitely the strongest tool in their toolbox right now, especially when that's all you need to commit to win the fight. They still have this Transcendence to respond to what I assume is going to be a Blizzard, maybe the cage fight, as well as Easy Junkrat's cage fight ready to go, and this barrage could be pretty big as well. Speed boost.
You have the speedy Cassidy. Looking for anything. The Transcendence does come down, as well as a Maywall. One cage fight, 4 mods looking for the picks with the Blizzard as well, and that will do it. Fuji cleaning up a majority, but it was great team play that really drove that fight.
Yeah, Fuji finding 3 there with the help of that Blizzard. I feel like we saw oh, what a stagger on a Junkrat. What I was saying was, I think I saw I Love Her use that Transcendence just a little bit early. I think it wasn't in response to the ultimates. It was just kind of, if anything, it was coming down into the Cassidy, which is probably one of the very few DPS ultimates. Probably shouldn't be popping a Transcendence into. And I think that just kind of led the Blizzard to getting a lot more value than it should have, and definitely see that with the picks Fuji got.
Yeah, we're seeing the ult economy not looking all that great right now for Merrimack. Trine does have some to pop, but with Houdini getting picks like this, they might not have to commit anything else to this fight.
Yeah, I mean, Houdini just running it down with the help of that, oh, well, my bad. I saw all these assists from the Juno. I assumed it was an orbital ray, but looks like it was just the speed boost. We're getting this speedy Cassidy, not to mention with the high noon, I think is definitely fun to see. And already we see Trine just regaining this space. Mods playing really close. However, a Bastion swap from Dila, I think, might make a pretty big difference in dealing with this Mei and with the Mauga.
Orbital Ray now does come out from the side of Trine, and that is a quick cleanup for the side of Trine. Saving 3 ults during that. Mod's very close to his own. Merrimack really just got that ball stopped, and they need to get it rolling again. They're going to have to do it with some of these ults. We're seeing Bobby Shawarma with that overclock, Sunday with the nano boost. I'm sure we're going to see another expected combo with those two. When's it going to come out, and what's Trine's response going to be to it?
Yeah, we see this overclock nano come out now. We'll find Houdini, however, the Blizzard will freeze it. Rally comes out now into the Transcendence. Neither team is going to be dying. However, Easy Junkrat's walled off. There's a chance. And they're going to get caught out by mods. What a beautiful wall from Fuji, just trapping Easy Junkrat in there. Trying to break out maybe wasn't the best idea, although Bobby Shawarma with the shred from D-Law will find mods, and now that's a trade in the Maugas either way. Trine just going to full hold back, wait for that Mauga to get back and get ready. They have this cage fight and this high noon. Could be huge, assuming they make it right. 30 seconds, definitely going to be the last fight they have on this second point, unless Merrimack is able to make the cap.
Do have the tanks back in play. The cage fight comes down early, picks up mods very quickly. We're seeing Houdini try to use that Deadeye. Unable to find much. Delaw doing some great work right now on this Bastion pick, finding some crucial kills. It's the barrage come down, unable to find much. Easy Junkrat, however, dashes in the back, will find Fuji and Echo Riot. And just like that, Merrimack will have some pick. They don't have the capture just yet. But how long will Trine be able to hold?
Yeah, we saw just some last-minute attempts at throwing some things on point to make that cap. Fuji swapping to just throwing down that Blizzard, trying to get them off. Didn't work, however, that is going to allow the swap back to Sojourn, which we saw them doing some great work on previously, and I definitely think that's going to do a better job into this Bastion. Very low mobility and just a slow-moving target to just really build that charge up on to get some nice shots out.
And now we're having this third point push from Merrimack. Significantly less time in their time bank. They're going to have to make these plays quick, stop Trine before they even get a foot to stop them. Easy Junkrat with a nice pick on the mods early. The orbital ray did come down from Echo Riot, but it seems like Merrimack's the one to get the kills. Genie critically low in this side room. I'm sure will get picked up. And just like that, we have Merrimack very close to capping this third point. Easy Junkrat with that cage fight as well.
Yeah, thankfully mods will jump right through it, although health is looking low as the overclock comes out from Bobby Shmurda. I love her finding mods. Bobby Shmurda find Echo Riot, and that's now going to be a cap with, I believe, in overtime for Merrimack. We definitely saw them come back pretty strong there. They made the swaps that they needed to. I definitely think that the Bastion was a fairly big player into that, able to just shred Trine, and it felt like from the end of that second point fight, Trine just felt fairly staggered and just could not find the appropriate they just couldn't get properly grouped, and then that led Merrimack to have the advantage, maybe get an early pick or two in a fight, and then always have that man advantage, damage, and everything like that. And I think that's why we saw such a nice cap from them at the end. 1 minute now to cap this first point and continue pushing it, and we can see them reflecting some possible picks we saw earlier. Bobby Shawarma actually on this Bastion instead of the Sojourn that they were on.
Yeah, we have Merrimack making some hovers right now in their comp. I did like having the Zenyatta as well as the Ana for the supports, being able to handle mods just a little bit easier. We're seeing just that with Easy Junkrat on the Malga as well. The Law back on that Pharah pick. Maybe a good call as Houdini did swap back to that Reaper. There we see it spotted out now.
Definitely this Pharah, I think, is going to be pretty big, like you said, into this Reaper, but the Pharah is what let them take such a fast cap. However, Trine's positioning, I think, is going to make a big difference now. Their supports are not just playing stuck inside of a small room. They're playing back, they're playing around corners, and it's making it much harder now for Merrimack and Delaw to get this damage out. Huge anti comes, but yeah, it looks like Merrimack now 15 seconds. I don't even know if we'll be able to see a touch.
Yeah, gonna need a Doctor Strange portal to get to that point now. With a wall coming down from Fuji, I'm not sure if they're gonna be able to get that touch. Like you said, we do have someone on point. The mods finding that quick pick, sending Easy Junkrat in for an easy kill. And Trine just has the picks they need to run off Merrimack.
Yeah, and I mean, that's now Merrimack's second map, and they stand no chance of winning this. The best they have is, or I should say, they cannot win this map now. The best they have is a possible draw. They didn't get any percentage on that first point, and now it's all up to them to try and make this stall if they don't want to go 0-2. Trine, I mean, almost 4 times the amount of time to cap this point. is going to be looking pretty strong. We saw them with a pretty strong attack, and it didn't rely on that Pharah and the unlucky positioning. I'm excited to see what they're going to opt to bring it. I mean, it looks like Trine definitely going to be rocking with the same team they've been running with. Merrimack, I think, making this swap back to the Mauga, definitely the right choice.
I think so too. It's going to be their best bet at this hold here. I think DeLaw on this May could really try to replicate what Fuji was going for, that lockout potential, isolating the tank, isolating the supports, really doing whatever you can in your power to disconnect that healing, disconnect the team, and land those easy picks. And I think that if Merrimack does this right, we could have a draw on our hands, a full 4-minute hold coming from the side of Merrimack.
Yeah, I mean, definitely would be a sight to see. Merrimack, I like this May play, and they're definitely playing somewhat further up than they were before. But I think this Zenyatta and the Sojourn on the high ground are going to be the big players. Discord comes out as well. However, I like Houdini just diving up this high ground. Finding easy Junkrat that early is critical for Trine. Over there finding picks as well. Houdini and Mods down. It's looking fairly advantage of Merrimack now.
Yeah, 2 tanks down as well as a DPS for Trine. They will get the faster respawn. They will be back in this fight quicker. But with another pick from Sunday coming onto Fuji, that is exactly what Merrimack needs to stop Trine for now. Be able to regroup with your team, get the tank back up and in play. And here we're seeing them do just that. Now a minute down.
Yeah, beautiful wall for the most part. Gonna get shredded real quick from D-Law. Looks like they're just trying to find them now. I definitely think we're gonna need to see Houdini get this dive onto the supports in the high ground, separate the healing from the tank, and I think that's gonna be where Mods gets the nice damage out. We see now big anti. They're gonna find 10. Fuji will find Junkrat though. Transcendence committed for my lover. With the tank down, although 2 members, making it 3 down from Trine. Now 4, and I think that's going to be a beautiful hold from Merrimack now. Half of Trine's time is down. They have almost all of their ultimates ready to go. However, Merrimack having to commit that Transcendence early is a bit of a worry, but I think with this Nano and the Overclock, we could see something huge.
Yeah, Merrimack doing just what I said. They're playing their cards right. Fuji does have this overclock popped with that orbital ray. They do have to be careful here. Bobby Shawarma popped an overclock of their own, but the picks are starting to come through from Trine. Cage fight as well committed. Everything unveiled in just a second, and that is Trine with a team kill and King's Row in their bank.
Yeah, beautiful second point from Trine, and that is just unfortunately what happens in these overtime maps, is especially when they have a decent more time to spare than Merrimack. They were able to just kind of sit, keep going back and forth. Doesn't really matter if they're losing these fights. They just had a lot of ultimates to work with and spit out. Just wait for them to build, and that's exactly what we saw as they spat, I think, 5 of their 6 onto that point, and that's just going to be way too hard to hold if you're Merrimack. But in general, we definitely saw a little bit more life from Merrimack this game. We saw, I mean, they went all the way, and that was surprising to see compared to their the middle point there. They had a very strong first attack with that Pharah, countered by that Cassidy, and then started to struggle. But I think once again, they made the right choices they needed to, really staggered out Trine and did a good job. But I think just on that second attack, they just weren't able to find that advantage, which really made it much harder for that 4-minute defense.
Yeah, 4 minutes is no small feat there. I mean, Trine definitely earned that time bank, put it to good use there, taking their time, maybe a bit of a slower push. Maybe it was just Merrimack shutting down their plays. But there we see at the end, with resilience, they will be able to push through, take the second point, go up 2-0 in this series right now. We're going to have to see Merrimack start to bounce back soon if they want a chance at winning this. Trine's just looking way too hot right now. And as we get into our third map, Colosseo, We'll have to see how their push game is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen Colosseo just a little bit as it got added back into the list of the possible maps, and I think just looking at the possible things, one thing I am wondering that I'll actually mention too that's interesting is Overwatch just started a new season. They now have picks, or I don't know if they necessarily have picks, but they have bans for ranked competitive, which definitely next season will likely be seeing that applied. And I'm just wondering, how would picks and bans between these maps alter this? I mean, obviously, I think we'd see an immediate Sojourn ban from Trine. Bobby Shawarma just doing some absolute work on that. Maybe an Ana ban as well to prevent the anti on the Mauga. Just kind of an interesting thought, I was wondering. But regardless, Overwatch now, game of counter swapping, and that's the best thing they got to work with. And it's going to have to see some resilience and adaptability between the teams in that sense.
It certainly will. I mean, I'm sure with some picks and bans, we would definitely see a Mauga ban coming out as well. One of the just craziest characters to ever be added to this game, in my opinion. I mean, the sheer sustainability of that character, it's annoying how much he can just stay on that point, how much he can take. And here we're seeing mods take it all to the chin, apparently, with Echo Ride and 10 being able to keep him up 9 times out of 10 here. And we're going to have to see Trine with this push here. Like I said, see how good their push game is. Maybe Merrimack really has something to bring here on this push. We're seeing Bobby Shawarma on that signature Sojourn now. The Law back on the May pick. And Easy Junkrat on the Orisa.
Yeah, I mean, mods, you definitely can tell is an issue on that Mauga when you see Merrimack swapping minimum 3 of their heroes just to counter it. Definitely tells you when there's an issue. We can see that now as they're holding some pretty nice forward pressure. This Orisa is actually getting some nice control for the first time. We've seen Merrimack struggle with actually getting the value out of that, but it looks like they're getting some nice damage down. Bobby Shawarma finding Fuji, and it looks like that's a overall Trine's looking pretty low, struggling to get this damage out.
With
we'll find a tank.
Both of their supports down. Mods does not have any other supports to keep him up, will eventually fall. And yeah, there we see Merrimack taking this first fight their way, getting this bot pushing, gaining the ground advantage for right now. And really putting the ball in Trine's court, saying, you know, maybe you guys got to make some swaps. Maybe we're looking too good with this team comp now.
And I really like this positioning from Bobby up on that high ground, able to just jump up, shoot all the way down into the spawn in the choke. And immediately we see Merrimack. They push up the bot, they make some good space, and then they back up, and they're not going to try and just kill themselves being out of position. They're going to hold that, fight at this midpoint. That's definitely smart. You don't have too much to lose, especially when you're not risking losing that forward spawn when they don't have it yet. Now they're definitely up on ultimates here in every advantage. I mean, 10 only at 60% to the support ultimate. I think it's going to go Merrimack's way if they pop the right ones now.
See the overclock nano boost come down from Merrimack. Starting to try to do some work. The Death Blossom will claim Easy Junkrat. Houdini finds Sunday outside of it. Now looking for more, finds I Love Her. And there we see Trine with a complete turnaround to be able to win that fight and now get the bot pushing for them.
Yeah, that was 3 ults, 4-3, and we're able to win that. I think just holding off on that Death Blossom worked out well. I'm surprised we didn't see I Love Her try and use this Transcendence, but we now see, I'm anxious to see, I think we will see Merrimack stop this cap, not giving the advantage yet. Blizzard comes out, not hitting too many. I mean, the Reaper's able to just fade right out of that, but they're going to get a nice wall onto mods, disconnecting them, shredded. Now this cage fight's ready to come down, but with the anti, I think they're just going to fall.
That was a beautiful use of that anti-grenade from Sunday. Being able to hit mods when he was low like that, being able to pick up that pick is huge. But we're seeing Trine still not fall. 10 did pop that rally. Houdini was just finding picks. And now we're starting to see Merrimack trying to stop Trine. We see Houdini still up, putting down some damage. I'm not sure for how long, as he will just back up, regroup with the team. Mods is here with that cage fight still. As he dives into the back, I'm sure we're going to see it.
Real good there. Yeah, Death Blossom with the cage fight, definitely going to do a lot of damage. We see that now as we get that team kill, and that's going to be Trine taking this advantage. They did commit the rally to that as well for a little more team survivability, and that's definitely going to put Merrimack up in this ult economy. Going to have this Nano and the Overclock ready, and then this Orisa ultimate in the back pocket. Trine's going to get this forward spawn as well. Not going to get contested yet. Going to take a very forward hold.
Yeah, went for that position there. Didn't find the pick. Easy Junkrat with a nice ultimate. Picks up 10. Gets shut down immediately after by Houdini. And the side of Trine with 3 picks now into the fight. That is exactly how you run them off, even though Merrimack committed some ults to it.
Yeah, for sure. We saw, I think, D-Law steal the bot, which honestly, when your team's already dead, is the best thing you can do. Slow them down just a little bit more. Wasn't able to stop that forward spawn, however. Easy Junkrat now swapping over to that Malga, something I'm surprised we didn't see earlier. Now we still have, looking at both support ults ready for Merrimack, this Orbital Ray ready as well, but not too much to pair it with yet. They're just going to pop it as an aggressor. Get some nice picks, Transcendence to answer, and I think that's a pretty good trade.
Yeah, Orbital Ray for that Transcendence, getting both of those out. Houdini with a massive Death Blossom in the back as well. Now doing work on Easy Junkrat. Bobby Shawarma, however, with that Overclock and the Nano boost, falls shortly after the Fuji, though. And that's Trine yet again, just winning these fights, being up, using these ultimates in such a forward position that Merrimack seemingly just does not have an answer for.
Yeah, I mean, Fuji winning that 1v1 without the Overclock and without the Nano is definitely impressive. We see Trine just really forcing this bot up, falling back, taking space, letting the tank overextend, and we see that now as they immediately are just doing as much damage as they can on Easy Junkrat, already at half health. Having to fall back, Blizzard comes out, it's gonna hit. Feels like a lot of the members not gonna freeze any though, as that's both DPS for Merrimack down, and they have a very forward hold on this. Just the supports and the tank going. Cage fight comes out, however. Yeah, Easy Junkrat was low.
From both Malgas, actually, the cage fight came down. And yeah, it just seems like Trine just doing it a little bit better. Pressing Q at the right time, being able to find these picks, and just like that, oh, we have the Wrecking Ball. Easy Junkrat making the swap, giving Trine the spin cycle, spin to win, not for long. The Transcendence, however,
yeah, that's going to make for a good contest for quite a while. However, I think that this Death Blossom could be the ender for any last-minute contesters. See that now as the Tracer tries to get the touch. The Wrecking Ball is back out. It's not over for Merrimack yet, as the Nano Wrecking Ball spinning in a circle. Miley Cyrus doing work on this point. He's going to get shredded by Fuji, however, and it looks like that is going to be it for Merrimack with no responses left. That is going to be the cap for Coliseum on Trine, now bringing the score to 3-0. Reminder, this is best of 7 in the finals. Trine needs one more to win.
Yeah, Trine looking really good on all 3 of these maps. Merrimack was able to shut down some of their pushes early on, but it seems like once Trine got that forward momentum, they didn't really let it go, and that resulted in their 3rd win of the series. Now putting them at series point. They just need one more map to become the grand champions here, become the #1. But that is just what we're going to have to see Merrimack do. Back is against the wall. They are going to have to fight here.
For sure. And while we wait to get into this last map we can definitely talk about, or sorry, I'll say next map. We can definitely look at what Merrimack needs to do to make these changes. And I mean, it feels like they need to reflect on what has worked. I mean, that Farah worked decently well on the attack. We saw that happen. But the second it comes out, you get the advantage, you win that fight you need. Trine just immediately finds an answer. I think it was Houdini on the Cassidy. And it feels like that's the issue Merrimack has, is they have the adaptability to make the swap. I think just has it a little bit better. So when their go-to strat of this team comp doesn't work out with the Reaper, the Sojourn, and everything, they can just make the swaps they need and just do better with it. And Merrimack, I feel, just doesn't have that adaptability to keep making those changes, keep adapting efficiently enough to stay in it. And I think that's something that they definitely need to work on. I think this something they can do to make a difference in this game is maybe identify, okay, we've put 3 or 4 characters into countering this Malga. We've used a Mei, a Mei for a wall, we've used a Reaper, we've used a Bastion, we've used Anti, we've used Discord, and it's still not working. Maybe try and focus your resources elsewhere. Maybe try and focus on Fuji, who's doing work on that Sojourn, focusing the DPS. Maybe that opens it up for the picks on the supports and such. And I just think they're now on their second or third map trying to counter this Malga. It's not working. Try and maybe focus those resources elsewhere.
Yeah, I think that could be a big play in Merrimack's positioning and who they're targeting. That shot calling, it needs to be down on those supports. We're seeing, I believe it's Echo Ride and 10 do incredible work for the side of Trine, keeping mods up as he's taking all those resources to the face, all that damage, all those ultimates even. I mean, he's not dying for a reason, and that's why we see these orbital rays and these rallies come out so consistently from Trine throughout the night. We're seeing it's seemingly everything that Merrimack throws at Trine, they're able to just have a support ult or a Malga ult or another DPS ult to just counter it. And I think Merrimack is just going to have to come out with a little bit more aggression. We're seeing Trine very aggressive, taking these forward positions, driving these kills in. And I think we're just not seeing as aggressiveness from Merrimack. And I think that could be a big factor in some of these fights here.
Definitely. And I think going now into New Junk City and on Flashpoint, I think that it really favors this aggression and just really keeping up this pressure. You cap that point, you only have about a minute or two before it's capped. You just got to play forward, and that's something we've seen try and do very well. Merrimack, I think that this we saw. I want to say it was D-Law bringing out just 1 or 2 Sombra swaps last minute. Maybe even the Wrecking Ball, and I think that could be something that might work for Merrimack, especially on this map. There are so many side routes, so many random health packs around you can jump to, and I think overall, when I mentioned they got to shift their focus off of maybe the Malga onto the supports. That's where that Sombra pick could come in handy. And there's a chance we're seeing that. I mean, we see the Sombra hover. We see maybe a Hanzo trying to just get some shred damage, maybe try and get an easy one-shot onto Echo Ride or 10. But I'm happy to see that swap.
Yeah, I mean, Merrimack actually now walking out with this comp. You know, what can you do when it feels like you can't do anything? You do what you can, and what they can do is go Sombra, Hanzo, into Trine's team comp here. I think we're just going to be looking for some picks with this Hanzo. Catch one of those arrows to the head. Fuji falls early. And maybe this is exactly what Merrimack needs to start finding these picks, winning these fights. But Houdini's not looking to make it happen that easily.
Yeah, well, important thing to note, you could see D-Law get 0 kills this entire game and still be the MVP. Because Sombra getting those picks on the support's definitely the best thing you can do. But with how Trine is playing, having even just one member of the team turn their heads, having one support turn away from the Mauga, having Fuji turn around, that just relieves so much pressure off of Easy Junkrat and really enables that Orisa to play that aggressive play style. And that's why the Sombra is such good at being a distraction.
I think it could be a very vital part of this team comp. You see Merrimack all there. Trine will start capping this point. 50%, however, as you mentioned going into this, it does tick faster. We're going to have to see Merrimack regroup quickly, get everyone back together, and hit Trine hard on this point. And we're seeing them do just that. Easy Junkrat and Bobby now up, waiting for the rest of the team before they initiate this push.
Yeah, for sure. Holding this forward position like we've seen before. Now aware of this Sombra. Definitely going to be harder on D-Law when they know about you. They have this Orisa ultimate ready to go with a lot of the members here. It's going to find a bunch. Will kill Fuji. Houdini, however, ulting the DP, the supports in the back, and is going to trade with Bobby. D-Law looking to get this solo cap. However, 2 members still up. Kitsune Rush is going to be committed from Sunday.
Yeah, we're seeing some incredible picks all over the map. The Kitsune Rush on the point. Easy Junkrat getting a little aggressive. Now turns the back towards Mods. We did see Echo Riot commit that Orbital Ray, enabling Houdini and Mods to find these picks. And Merrimack did take over that point, but Trine quick to take it back. And I believe take our first flashpoint.
Yeah, they were looking a little rough at the start, but once again, Trine just really flexing their power and adaptability. You don't always need to make hero swaps, just play style, and we see that in the way they're playing a little bit closer together, very aware of this Sombra. I mean, similar to the Pharah in that on King's Row, works really well just because Trine is not expecting it, but as soon as they know about it, they counter it. I mean, even here we see some nice spy checking from Fuji. Cage fight comes out from Mods to take the tank, and I think that's just going to be another fight in Trine's favor, going to get this cap.
Yeah, we were seeing, I believe it was Merrimack, just a little split. Trine committing some ults to that being the cage fight there, making them even more split, cut off from one another, able to single out those fights. A scatter arrow kill from Bobby Shawarma onto Fuji. That's how you do it. Simple geometry, finding its pick. Orbital Ray committed from I Love Her. And we're seeing the picks now for Merrimack come through as they make their way to the point.
I mean, that was off the back of a beautiful EMP with the help of that Orbital Ray. Not much committed from Trine. I mean, they had that cage fight earlier in the previous fight, but Trine not committing any ultimates to that, definitely smart. Not like you can when you're hit by an EMP, I should say, but definitely important to note that Sombra can do more than just be a distraction. However, I do think Trine, a lot of ultimates in the pocket, ready to be committed. I'm ready for this overclock. Comes out. Oh, gives Sunday a haircut. But they're just going to hide from this overclock.
We do have a trade in the tank department now. Neither tank is alive. We're seeing Trine with a pseudo tank 10 popping that rally, getting in the face of Merrimack, finding Bobby. Houdini popping that Death Blossom as well. And that's Trine finding the picks, doing what they do, running Merrimack off. And very shortly, they're going to be taking the capture percentage lead here.
Yeah, Houdini not afraid to get aggressive, playing all the way up. Honestly, just taking that 1v1. Usually, you just back up, get back with your team. They said, oh no, I'm taking this Orisa 1v1. And worked out, I want to say, mostly in their favor until now, is you kind of force your supports up with you, and that's how Echo Riot falls. They're going to be missing their support ultimate now. However, this aggressive play from Mods is going to come out, find Sunday. That's a trade in supports, but Easy Junkrat will find 2. Although they weren't able to get the touch. I forgot just how quickly these points tick. That's going to be it for second point for Trine, and now it is entirely on Merrimack to get an entire reverse sweep. They have to win the next 3 rounds and the next 4 maps if they want to become your grand finals champions. Orbital Ray comes out now.
Orbital Ray and responded with the Kitsune Rush from Sunday. I love her now committing their Orbital Ray, giving Merrimack all the utility they need. The tools are in their hands, but Fuji, the one-man army with empowerment, and Houdini finding these picks now. Trine shutting down any hope Merrimack had, starting to cap this 3rd point, and now Merrimack really in a bad position here. They're gonna have to play near perfect here to win this map, win this series. It's all on them. This is very intense.
I mean, already 30% on the point, and Trine has 3 ults, 30% to 4. And Merrimack doesn't even have 1 up yet. Gonna use this cage fight. Houdini will fall low, although Sunday falling for Fuji is gonna be real tough for Merrimack. Forced to fall back. Dula has this Blizzard resi, but they're just too far in the back, and already that's another team kill for Trine. 70%. Merrimack has 3 ultimates to work with, none of which are the supports. Trine able to cap that, only committing 1 is looking real good. And it's now looking real rough for Merrimack as they need to make this happen. 10%, are they going to even be able to get to point? They're just going to ignore the tank.
Through from Easy Junkrat, but yeah, just ignoring that tank, exposing the back line. Easy Junkrat did find 1, found 2. Now looking to drive it home for Merrimack on this point. Houdini, however, comes back, starts the kill train, and that will be it for Merrimack. Trine will take it, all 4 maps. They are your grand champions. Congratulations to Trine.
Yeah, I mean, that was quite a match from them. Beautiful showing from Trine. Just great survivability. We've seen this before in teams where they have this comp and they just run it nonetheless. And we see that here. Trine, they know how to play together. They know what works. Beautiful team comp, beautiful synergy. Merrimack as well. I really like their creativity and their adaptability. It just felt like when you're swapping, it's that situation where Trine is just so confident in these picks. These are their main picks. Merrimack is left swapping to characters they're maybe not as used to find answers, and that's just going to leave them at the general disadvantage. But overall, good job to Merrimack, and great job to Trine. GG's both teams.
Yeah, let's not forget Merrimack now the number 2. They made it all the way, just unable to claim that 1st place slot. Trine shutting it out. GG's to them. And I believe that's going to be it for us tonight. I believe that is also going to be the end of the ECAC Overwatch season. We will have to see. I don't believe there's any more games planned, at least. So if this is it for us, thank you all for tuning out, coming out this season, tuning in. We really appreciate all the support. This was the grand finals for Division B, and yeah, Trine just walking away with it right at the end there.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for the season. Thank you for coming out. Really appreciate it. Be sure to tune in, I believe, over the weekend on Sunday or Saturday is the Marvel Rivals Grand Finals as well. So very similar game, fun action. Hopefully we'll see you guys there. But once again, I'm Althea, joined by